Do you recall Lone Murphy's spinning elbow knockout from a few weeks ago? Everyone was buzzing after that highlight, and for a split second it seemed as though Murphy might be the next contender for the featherweight title. Because of how devastating the performance was, fans were already planning to fight for the crown. However, as usual, the last event usually matters the most. And now that Gene Silva will be replacing Diego Lopez in a few days, all eyes are turning to the UFC. Silva is one of the few men who can actually fight with Lauren Murphy for that championship shot, so if he goes out there and does something exceptional, the title discussion will immediately pick back up. This battle is more exciting because Silva is the only member of the Fighting Nerds team who hasn't lost his win streak yet. Aside from Movsar Evloev, who has had terrible luck lately. Here's the problem though. For Lone Murphy, the deal is essentially sealed if Lopez completes the task. Diego doesn't immediately return to that discussion after winning here because he already had his chance against Vogue and failed. Josh Thompson and Big John McCarthy responded to the UFC notice. Let's get started.
Okay, let's dive in.
Does John Silva have to win this to show that the Fighting Nerds are not frauds?
No. Come on, you're fighting the best in the fucking world and you lose a fight. Okay. I think in the stand-up, they both have power. I think the better stand-up fighter overall is John Silva. I think he's got more tools in the stand-up game. I think he's cleaner with his stand-up work. Diego throws a lot of looping shots, but he's got power, and so that power can nullify anything. On the ground, I know that John Silva is good. I think Diego Lopez is better. So this is really one of those you look and you go, okay, where's this fight going to play out? Is Diego Lopez going to be able to take him down? Because physically, John Silva is strong. He is good with his takedown defense. He's physically got strong legs and hips. He does things right. Can he keep it on the feet? If he can keep it on the feet, I'm saying John Silva.
El Matador demanded a boxing bout with Terence Crawford a few days after Ilia Topuria ran into him, even going so far as to swear he would knock him out with the first blow. The community was rocked by that, and supporters weren't buying it at first. Most instantly took Crawford's side, pointing out that he is now among the best boxers on the planet in terms of pound for pound. Even further, writer Luke Thomas stated categorically that Crawford would mistreat Topuria in the boxing ring. Everyone was reminded by Luke of what Crawford had done to Errol Spence. Another elite, pound for pound, is shredding him to pieces. Luke contended that Ilia Topuria would stand literally no chance in a boxing match if something were to happen to a world champion boxer. The irony here was not lost on the globe either. Ilia was ridiculed by fans for following Conor McGregor's path virtually exactly, defeating the greatest featherweight of all time, winning a lightweight title, and then immediately turning to pursue a lucrative boxing match. The community has been buzzing, and Luke Thomas's dissection of the matter may be the most ruthless response to date. Regardless of whether Ilia is being serious or only attempting to make headlines, let's get started.
Knock out Terence Crawford with the first punch he lands if they ever meet inside the squared circle. So this isn't an MMA call out. This is a boxing call out against Terence Crawford.
Yeah. Once again, Ilia, it's like Ilia says lots of things, he says lots of things. And that's in the MMA sense, he says lots of things and then he actually does some of the more impressive versions of them. So, all right, fair play. But brother, you've been here long enough and I've been here long enough to see the concept that an MMA fighter, even a good one like Ilia Topuria, could even hang on the level of Spence is comical. But even if you could, look what Bud did to him. He changed his life. He effectively retired him. And he was a pound for pound guy. But Crawford would abuse Topuria.
Today, UFC lightweight champion Ilia Topuria's mother revealed some shocking information about the champion in an interview with a Georgian broadcaster. Inside the octagon, Ilia is known to everyone as an absolute beast who easily defeats opponents. However, it seems that he has a whole different side off-screen. His mother began discussing Ilia and his brother Alexandra, mentioning their small routines and interests. Even his ardent supporters could be surprised by what Ilia disclosed about him. He loves poetry a lot. Yes. Do you recall when Ilia criticized Joe Rogan for claiming to read books but failing to name any of them.
Read a lot of books. I love reading books.
He is more complex than that, it turns out. His mother claims that Ilia continues to read frequently and that his favorite poems are about the renowned Georgian painter Nico Prismoni. You can't help but imagine this quiet, emotional side concealed behind the fierce fighter everyone sees in the cage, she added, and every time he reads this poetry, it brings him to tears. In early 2026, Topuria is scheduled to defend his lightweight title against Justin Gee or Paddy Pimblett. Okay, let's get started with the interview. Ilia and Alexandra used to participate in numerous tournaments while they were in Georgia. They would always carry a large bag full of those medals and prizes with them when they came to see us in Spain. The amazing accomplishments of these two lads are my greatest source of pride. Alexandra is a dancer with extraordinary talent. He sings quite well and has lovely movements. Ilia has a strong passion for poetry. He frequently reads poetry about pyromania and occasionally gets so moved that he starts crying. Ilia is a unique individual. He is capable of waking up in the morning with a completely original idea and seeing it through to completion. He has the power to create anything. In addition, he speaks a variety of languages including English, Spanish, Russian, German, Georgian, and Mongolian. He's quite intelligent. Carlos Prades discussed his opinion on the major conflict between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della, as well as his impending battle with Leon Edwards. To begin with, Carlos doesn't believe the claim that Leon is finished or past his best. He takes Edwards very seriously and asserts that the lion is always a lion. In this one, every action, every blow, and every second counts. Carlos also offered his opinion on Islam versus Jack, stating that Jack Della is a really talented fighter and that he thinks he can defeat Islam by decision at UFC 322 for both Pates and Edwards. The co-main event is extremely important. It's do or die for Leon. If he loses here, he goes on a losing streak, and his spot in the top 10 is called into question. Carlos would immediately be in the running for the title with a victory, especially after his devastating knockout loss. To Jeff Neal, although both fighters are strikers stylistically, this does not always imply that the bout will be fun to watch. According to some commentators, their strikes might negate one another and make the chess encounter unimpressive. Fans, what do you think of the fight? Comment in the space provided below.
Thought out there that Leon is past his prime, that he isn't as good as he once was. Do you agree with that sentiment or no?
I don't think so. I don't think. He's not old guy. He train a lot. He a former champ, you know. Lion is always a lion, bro. You know, I don't think on this way like he's not on his prime. No, I expect him fight against the better Leon. The best Leon, the best version of Leon. I expect it to fight. That's why I train too much. I work a lot, you know. I think the favorite is Islam, but Jackie show like he grew up a lot as a fighter. Since he stopped fight now, he was a long time without fight, almost 2 years, and he got really good skills to fight Belal Muhammad, defense takedowns. So I think
I appreciate you watching. Remember to subscribe to the daily news and give a like.